plane going by. Okay, so I realized something the other day that I haven't shown y'all yet. So there's this tool that I worked on. I guess it was around the holidays to help me get prepared for not New Year's, but just like intention setting for the new year. And I realized that I've yet to show y'all that. I attribute like a great deal of my success in the last quarter to this particular I've been using. So I wanted to show it to y'all because Sunday is the day I usually go through and like plan, sketch out my week, like, what are some of the main things that I need to get done. And there are a lot of parts to this template. It's a Notion template. And it's something that I use with clients when I'm first onboarding them to help them get set up with rituals that they can do on a regular basis. It helps you to plan your day, but also track your habits. There's also space on here for like high level goals, like for the year, and then also, smaller steps of those goals broken down. And it's based on the book, The 12-Week Year. Have you all read that yet? Oh, amazing. So the 12-week year, let me know in the comments if you've heard of it at least. So the 12-week year is basically assumes that like each 12-week cycle or each quarter is like a year long. And if you give yourself, a whole year to get something done, it's going to take a whole year. Whereas if you give yourself 12 weeks and really break it down into doable, not just steps, but like strategies, like it's more strategic. You have to think about like, well, what are the actual tasks that I need to be doing to move the needle, right? You said it's on your read list. Must read, girl. Like put it on your YouTube playlist, like on your must watch playlist, because you can literally listen to it while you're cleaning the house or whatever. Like it's that type of a read. So I'll just show you all the Notion template, and I'll let you watch me go through like what specific things are on my list. We'll start with, let me go back and see where's a good place to start, because there's a lot of different pieces to this puzzle. My 2023 vision, not necessarily a vision board, but I mean, I guess you could call it that in some ways because there's some visual aspects to it, but let me show you. Okay, let's flip the camera around for y'all. How do I do that? Hold on. I'm not well versed in the art of going live yet, so let's see how we flip this around. Settings. Come on now. I just keep liking myself. Does somebody have some instructions on how to like flip the flip the camera around so that I could like show y'all it flips or something? It was flipping earlier before I hit like, go live. It was flipping. That's weird. If I press and hold it? No. Somebody give us a quick tutorial how to flip the camera. I don't even know who that is. Krishan Rock. I've been seeing that name around TikTok, but I feel like that's children's stuff. I don't know nothing about it, if I'm being completely honest. Like a lot of this, I'm a millennial on this platform, okay? So a lot of these little things that be going around, I don't be knowing nothing about nothing, okay? Dang, y'all, I really want to show you this, and if I turn the front facing camera around, it's gonna be like, what you call it, backwards for y'all. That's no good. Okay, maybe I can just do this. Hold on. Sorry, you won't be able to kind of walk you through like what's what on here. Okay. So this is my 2023 vision, y'all. A little graphic, and here's some of the things that I'm actively shifting this year. I'm upgrading my lifestyle, loving myself more, taking better care of my body, embodying the identity of a wealthy woman, becoming more loving, committed, and devoted to myself. That's something that I've been actually posting about, like these last two things, just about, manifestation is a lot about embodiment work. Okay. And so if you want to become someone new or start doing a new thing, you have to like really step into the identity of the person who has that. So this is just a little quote. It says, people do not decide their future. They decide their habits, and their habits decide their future. I know y'all can't read this. Sorry about that. But I'm just going to walk you through it. So there's some quick links. There's the goal planner, the daily planner with the habit tracker, a movement planner, a book list, a Netflix watch list, and recipes. And this is another little quote. I'm the woman of my dreams, creating the life I've always dreamed of. And right here is actually, if you click on it, it'll take us to Apple Music, to a music playlist by Tony Jones. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Tony Jones, but Tony Jones, she writes these really beautiful affirmations for women. And so hence the playlist title, Affirmations for Grown Ass Women. And I'll just quickly like go over this first aspect of my 12-week year in this first quarter. It started January 20th. I started a little bit later. I didn't start on the 1st, but it goes from January 20th to April 20th. So some of my 12-week goals are to do a launch. I have a free challenge that's happening right now. And the second aspect is the second launch of this app that I'm working on. And in order to accomplish these things, you break those down into like, well, what are your priorities that are going to help you to accomplish like whatever your 12-week goals are. So my first priority, first and foremost are daily rituals for daily living. And I track these on the daily tracker. But the strategy to make sure that I do those are tea and meditation every day, morning hypnosis for my career every day, daily scripting, first breakfast, and my daily supplements. That's strategy 3. Strategy 4 is making sure I'm doing some type of movement, whether that's walking, yoga, hiking, or classes. I've been taking barre and Pilates. And one thing I want to say about the movement aspect of it, you guys, like, you have to find stuff that like really works for you. You know what I mean? And I just find like, I used to go to kickboxing. I used to run, the treadmill. I could do a 4K, like a 5K in one morning. Like, I just don't want to push my body that hard anymore, And so I was like, well, what are some things that I can do, some type of movement that I can do that A, I'll commit to, and B, just feels softer and more gentle on my body, because I was having like a lot of pain, like lady pains too, like my hip hurts, my knee hurts, and I was like, you know what, I'm not putting up with this. I got these cramp in my neck when I wake up. I started going to acupuncture, and so I was like, I gotta find some movement that I can do that's going to be more gentle for my body. So those are the things that I'm doing. Okay, I digress. Strategy 5, nightly reading, journaling, and sleep hypnosis. And at night, when I do the sleep hypnosis, I listen to a hypnosis that's specifically on building one's self-concept and relationship. So those are my 2 hypnosis tracks that I play. One in the morning for career focus as I'm waking up out of my sleep. The one at night is internal focus, also relationship building. And actually, you can get that hypnosis for free right now if you sign up on my email list, because we're doing a 7-day challenge about self love in the love rehab. Okay, so moving on. That's my first priority. And these are the different strategies. So, rituals, that's at the base of everything, right? Priority number 2, content marketing. In order to make the launch happen, right, I have to be creating new content and doing marketing. So part of that strategy was to create new hypnosis and self-talk audio for building wealth, weekly cross-platform reposts on Fridays, this 21 days self-love reboot. Like, I decided to do that as a 7-day challenge, which is actually what we're right in the middle of right now. And writing the self-love script, I've already done that and put out the hypnosis for that. So some of these things I can cross off. I'm not going to do that right now because I'm just walking you through like the basis of the 12-week plan, and then we'll get more like into the details of the things that I actually tick off every, list them out every week and then tick them off every day. And lastly, for this particular strategy or priority, the content marketing, is to finalize and re-record the self-concept hypnosis. This is something else that's already done. Okay, so priority 3 for me in these 12 weeks is daily learning, reading, audiobooks, listening to informative YouTubes, and working on my Pinterest. So strategy 1 is creating shareable content for LinkedIn, TikTok, and Pinterest. Strategy 2, taking notes and scripting video ideas. When I scroll social media, I usually have like my notebook nearby. I'm not scrolling just idly. I'm actually taking notes about, this worked. Let me see how I can remix this video and make it like, for my audience and for my content. So that really helps me to stay focused and not just, scroll endlessly. Strategy 3, language practice. There are 2 things I'm looking at using for language practice. This is a revisit. One is called Omegle. I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's like you can video chat with people from all over the world, apparently. I haven't figured out how to get on the Spanish Omegle. It keeps pairing me with like other random people, but I know this girl from TikTok who she's learning Korean, and she has a bunch of like Korean friends who she can practice her Korean with. And I was like, I need some Spanish speaking friends so that I can, have cute video chats with them and work on improving my Spanish. So another strategy for daily learning is my weekly reading lessons using Chat GPT. This is actually for someone else because I have an adult learner who I tutor. They're working on improving their literacy. And so I've been using Chat GPT to come up with weekly reading lessons for them based on the book that we're reading, which is Abraham Hicks' Asked and It Is Given. And ChatGPT has been really great about giving me lesson plans, or helping me co-create lesson plans that are directed towards helping support this person in their learning goals. And then strategy 5 is weekly audiobooks. And as I was telling somebody earlier who was asking about the 12-week year, a lot of these popular books, you can find them on YouTube, but I also have an Audible subscription. Okay. So priority 4 is the app building, and I'm looking at revising some content from just my previous work that I've done around like womb wellness and mind, body, spiritual alignment work. Hence the reason why I wanted to do an abbreviated version of the self-love challenge. I wanted to just do kind of 7 days to gauge people's interest in that sort of thing, because self-love and self-concept, they go hand in hand. And before I launch a full-on program, I wanted to get a feel for like, is this something that people want right now at this moment? So revising content outlines, this is a part of the app. This is what's going to launch in the app when it launches. I need to create the email sequence for the launch, outline, write, and film 1 workshop content. I've already done the outline part of that. And the first workshop is going to be sacred sensuality. And I actually got on here a couple weeks ago and kind of tested that material out People seem to really be into it. So I said that I was going to do this in a 2-part workshop because it's a lot of content. It's about SEXY magic, okay, and the different forms that that takes. And in one part of the workshop, we're going to be focusing on the divine feminine, of course, and then in the other, I'm thinking it's going to go in more in the direction of like the divine masculine energy. I'm still working that out, so we'll see. Okay, and so the next strategy I have for building the app, which is going to be called Rich Life, by the way, because we're building a rich life from the inside and out, is creating the first week of content and outline or setting up the web app for going live. This is something I'm going to outsource, but it's still on here as a strategy. It's something that needs to be done. Okay. Lastly, building a rich life in practice, because as I said earlier, anything that you want to change, any way that you want to, like, people talk about like timeline jumping and things like that, like in order to do that, like you have to become that person. And so here are some of the things that I'm doing to cultivate a rich life, like in my own world. Okay, I've started doing weekday dinner parties. This month I did one. I went to a friend's house. I had 2 planned, but the second one that I had got canceled. So doing this weekday dinner party thing, and I have another one coming up really soon. Like, to me, that is like it's very intentional because it allows you to like build out relationships, closer relationships, and more intimate ones with friends, versus just hanging out and kicking it all the time or going out, because we're all, I might have friends who are doing many different things. Some of them have children, some of them are married, some of them just are like, really focused on their spiritual path right now. And so there's not a lot popping in the streets in terms of, not in my friend group anyways. And so I was like, let's start getting together more often and just doing like some really intimate dinners. And at the last one, we created like a potion during the full moon, and we're meeting again at the next full moon to drink the potion. It's we made a cordial is what it was, like using roses and other herbs and all kinds of little magical things like that. So that's one of my strategies for building a rich life in practice, and in embodying it, is to start doing these weekly dinner parties or weekday dinner parties. So that's already in motion. Strategy 2 is finding new upscale places to work and eat. I love trying new restaurants, so that part isn't as much of a challenge, but finding like some place cute and quiet and comfortable to work. That's not my house because I work from home. My home is very comfy, cozy, but I find myself needing to leave and go, just experience a different atmosphere. So I sometimes go to this resort that's really close to my house. It has a nice lobby, plenty of space to work. It's very well lit. I love that. A lot of nice hotels and stuff though in my area are in the city. They're in San Francisco, and I don't love San Francisco, so I'm trying to find other places outside of the city where I can go do that, and it's a vibe. Okay. The next strategy for building a rich life in practice is getting a luxury gym membership for Pilates and bar. I started looking into Equinox out here, and it's weird. They have mat Pilates, which I really like I forget the reformer. I like the reformer Pilates. And so I haven't invested in this yet, but I have found a Pilates studio and a bar studio that I've been going to twice a week. And I feel like I already see the results. And so that's something that I'm investing in and using to help me to just, live a more luxurious, I don't want to say soft life because I feel like that's so overused, but like just, making improvements in my life. Because before I was just like, oh, I'm just, go hiking or whatever. But I really do enjoy the group exercise. And like I said, Pilates and bar, it's very, very easeful on the body. And so I'm really enjoying those two workouts. Strategy 4, in the spring, taking tennis and horseback lessons. And so my strategy for that is to research where and when. I've been asking the women who I go to Pilates and bar with. It's a certain type usually of woman who goes to these places, about like, okay, well, where are some, nice stables, some good places to take tennis lessons. And so I'm in information collecting stage as far as this strategy goes. And next will be to sign up. I'll probably do the tennis lessons first. And I also hear like tennis is really bomb networking as well. And so that's another something I'm doing to build my rich life and really embody that energy. The last strategy is bi-weekly massages, monthly acupuncture, and seeing the chiropractor. As I shared earlier, like going into this year, I felt like I had a lot of pain in my body. And for one thing, I know like we store a lot of energy in our hips, and that was one aspect of the pain that I was experiencing in my body. And so the more that I have implemented movement, but also these different modalities from acupuncture and seeing the chiropractor, like I can literally feel that energy like has moved out of my body. Like I don't have any more pain in my hip. The pain that I was having in my knee has subsided as well. I spoke to my godmother about this. She's a very spiritual woman, and she said that when you have pain in the knee, it has to do with the need for humility. And so I had been examining, the ways in which I show up and why this is, manifested itself in my body in that way. And also, of course, I feel like the acupuncture definitely helped. As I mentioned previously, I was also having like pain in my neck and my shoulders. And when I went to the chiropractor, he said something very, I'll turn the camera to me because I'm going to be talking for a minute. But he said something very interesting to me about how like the simplest things can be causing the most problems or the most stress on the body. And the example he gave is that he said he had set up his home office and his computer monitor was like to the left, but his keyboard was to the right. And so he would find himself typing and then going like this, typing and going like that to like look at his monitor. And in a few months, he started having problems, I think he said with his neck or something like that. And it got me to thinking like, well, what is something small that could be causing the issue that I'm having, like with the pain in my neck and my shoulders? And I realized that when I don't sleep without a pillow and I just sleep flat, I usually sleep pretty good and I don't wake up with that, pain in my neck or whatever. And so I tried that for like a week. I took away my pillows and was just sleeping flat. And again, I was going to acupuncture. I had a massage, and slowly like that pain has also dissipated. Like it's not completely gone. Like I can still feel it or whatever a little bit, but nowhere to the extent of how it used to be. And I'll tell you something else. Like one night I woke up and I was literally like my shoulders were like clenched. You know how like some people like clench their teeth at night? I was doing that like with my shoulders. And I was like, if you're tightening any muscle in your body over time, like it's gonna get tight, it's gonna be sore. And I was like, ask my body, like, why are you doing that? Like, this is sleep time, you need to relax, this is relax time. And so I noticed that between those two things, like swapping out my pillow, I actually have a memory foam pillow that's shaped like I want to say like a pelvis. It was like something random. I found it on Amazon, but it said it's for like side sleepers and people who sleep on their stomach. I started sleeping on my back with that pillow, and well, I sleep all over the place. Like wild and on the bed at night. And so, um, but I have been sleeping so much better, and I've had a lot less stress like in my neck and in my shoulders since doing these things to help me to, I don't want to say manage, but like just help me to alleviate, some of the and shift some things around like in my body. Like I just decided, right? And that's a part of manifesting, is that you have to decide like this is something that you want, that you're going to do. I decided like I'm not putting up with this, what I feel and perceive is like early deterioration of my body. I was like, I'm not going to put up with being in pain. Like I'm going to start doing things to figure out how to release like whatever energy is stored in the body that's causing these aches and these pains, because a lot of times it's like stuff that's mental that's going on with us subconsciously, things that we're holding on to. And when we don't process those things, in addition to doing the body work, the body starts to break down and malfunction. And so I was like, yeah, we're not putting up with that this year. We're going to prioritize going to see the chiropractor, going to see the acupuncturist, getting bi-weekly massages, whatever I need to do. Like I said, I was just going to throw everything at it. And just those, 1, 2, 3 things by themselves, and well, the working out too, because one of the instructors in my workout class said like with the hip pain, and I also told her like I had an old back injury. She was like, it seems counterintuitive, but if you're like, regularly getting blood to that part of the body and start, working it out, it actually helps build it back up. And so I think that's kind of what's been happening. So yeah, that's been working. All right, so those are my 5 priorities that lead back to the 12-week larger goals of 2 launches and the free challenge. And like I said, this part right here, I actually need to go and look at and tick some of these off, because some of these a lot of the strategies, a lot of them you'll see on the next page when I share with you the daily habit tracker. Some of this stuff has already been accomplished, it's already done. And so all I really need to do is to adjust, what else is left to do in terms of priorities and strategies to go from vision to reality. And as I was saying earlier, the reason I like the 12-week year is because if you tell yourself like, oh, this year I'm going to launch my app finally, or this year I'm going to, launch a new course work, like you'll take the whole year to do it. Like I'm a writer in like my regular like 9 to 5 life. However long you give yourself to do something, that is how long you will take. And so by breaking these high level goals down, it assumes like, all the stuff that you say you want to accomplish in a year, like giving yourself, instead of 12 months, 12 weeks. So like each week is literally like a month to like get this stuff done. And you only really focus on the actual priorities that you have and the strategies that help support you to get the priorities done. Okay. So the next section I'm going to show you real quick is the goal planner. Turn this around for you again. Sorry that it's backwards. I couldn't figure out how to flip the camera. It wasn't working out for me. But the goal planner, and basically this is a reiteration of what I call the new SMART method or new SMART goals. And it's a framework for setting goals that help you to ensure that they are, here's the new acronym, y'all: simple, meaningful, achievable, realizable, and on a timeline. And so this is a variation of SMART goals. And the S stands for simple and specific. How And this is how I set my goals. Like, how do you see yourself doing what you want to accomplish? Why is it important? And are there any people, places, or things that are involved in making this goal happen? These are the things you want to think through when you're setting your goals. Is it measurable and meaningful? So not just, how will you know when you've accomplished the goal, but how will you feel? Like, the feeling is what's going to help you push through when it gets hard, when you're remembering, like, okay, I'm doing this for a greater purpose, and it's going to feel really good when I've, hit my income goals for this quarter or this month or whatever it is, and I can support, my kid and sending them to camp for the summer, or whatever it is that, you've attached to this goal. It has to have a feeling attached to it in order to make it meaningful. That's what the other M is for. All right, the A is for achievable, align, and act as if. Acting like you're already aligned with the goal and you've already got it. Notice how it aligns with your life currently. Do other things need to shift in order to accommodate you having it? And when I went over the part about like living a rich life and practice, this is definitely in alignment with that. Like, there are just some things that I'm just already going to start doing before I have the riches that I want or the wealth that I want. Like, I'm already moving in that energy by doing things that I perceive imply wealth, right? The R is for realizable and responsible. If you can perceive it, you can achieve it and receive it. Also, making sure your goal is for the good of all and to the harm of none. That adds a layer of goodwill to see it carried out. How will achieving this goal help others beside you? Okay, this has to be a goal that is more than just going to support you, but how is it going to like help the broader collective or the community or the people in your family? Like, how is it going to impact other people besides you? Okay. T is on a timeline and toward motivated. When do you want to accomplish this goal by? Is it going to take you 2 weeks, 6 months, a year? And instead of staying and feeling, I'm tired of being so disorganized in my life, or I'm tired of being disorganized, so my goal is to clean twice a week. A toward motivation statement would be, I love the feeling of being organized. My goal is to declutter a little daily and or weekly. That's a completely different vibe, right? Instead of being like, oh, I hate this, you say, no, like, I love the feeling of being organized. And my goal is to X. That's speaking what you want versus like what you have. If you're always saying like, oh, I'm tired, you're always going to feel tired. Of being disorganized, you're always going to be disorganized. And so you want to speak it with a toward motivation. Okay. So those are the main points for that. And then there's a little video here that I give for my clients to watch, just explaining like what the new SMART goals are. Let's go back, and what I'll show you is the daily planner and the habit tracker. So what I love about this, first of all, I love a list. Okay. So what I love about this is that it's a list, but on steroids, because and I'm normally like a paper and pen type of person, but I like the fact that you can move these around. So like last week, my goal, one of my plans was to go to Trader Joe's on Monday. If I don't make it on Monday, I can always just move that thing down to Tuesday, and it's not going to mess up the flow of my list. Whereas, if I was to write this down, I would have to like scratch it out and rewrite it. And just, to me, this is just like an easier way to reprioritize things. Like, if something doesn't get done on a Monday, then it obviously I need to either re-examine it. Is it really a priority if I keep pushing it around to different days? Or I need to just move it to another day, or figure out like when's the best good time that I'm going to have the actual energy to do this. Okay, so all of these were actually done. So we can delete this out. And so this Monday, I have a one-on-one meeting with a new client. So that's top priority for tomorrow. I also need to send a client proposal. Those are the two things that come to mind just right now for me for tomorrow. I have been liking going to I swapped out Pilates and I started going to bar first during the week because that's usually the harder workout. So I'm going to change Pilates to bar. TikToks, that has got to happen. So all I got to do is unclick that and to make it reactivate as something I need to do. I don't need to do any shopping just yet. I actually did a big shop at the end of the week, so I'm going to take that out. Let's see. Wednesday, therapy is always on Wednesday, so I can untick that and reactivate it for the week. Also, I like to go for one of my walks at the lake on Wednesday, so I'll just untick that. I don't even have to rewrite it because this was from my routine last week. TikTok content once again. This part right here I already did for the series, the free series, the Love Rehab series that we're doing right now. So I'm gonna just delete that because that's already done. I have some stuff on here for Chat GPT. I've used that. I didn't take it off, but that was done. So I'm gonna delete it. And what are these other things? Alarm sound, Yeah, all of these things were done. So I can delete those out. So that's 3 things for Wednesday. Target I did do, so I'm gonna just delete that because I don't need to go to Target again, not this week. I do need to return my book to the library, so I'm gonna leave that on there. I didn't return it last week. And I'm gonna change bar class to Pilates because we switched those around to have bar first and then Pilates later in the week. And tutoring, this is my day to do tutoring, so I'm gonna untick that. And instead of bringing this extra phone, I need to create a file send because I have a large file that I need to deliver to my students. So I'll add that to the list. Friday, TikTok content. These two don't usually change. Weekly cross-platform reposts. I've been cross-posting things on YouTube. So a longer video like this one would end up on YouTube. Thank you. Happy Black History Month. Saturday, TikTok content. I met with my student last Saturday too. We won't be doing that this week, so I'm going to delete that. This was also about them. I can delete that. Yeah, none of these things are relevant for this coming week, except for the dinner party. I think this is the week of the dinner party, which is going to be it's on the 4th? Yeah, March 4th. I think that's this coming week. Let's have a look, the calendar. Valentine's is this day, the 4th. Yeah, the 4th is on Saturday, so that's accurate for the dinner party. Is on this Saturday. ClassPass, I keep this. I use ClassPass in order to take these classes I was telling you all about, and I usually book those on a Sunday, so that stays. I try to go hiking on Sunday, and then of course TikTok content. Now for the month, there are some things that I could pull from over here to over here. I'm not going to do that at this moment because I have the basis of the stuff that I need to do. And a lot of this stuff was like for February. So because March is coming up, I'll probably end up doing this tomorrow because it's getting a little late. But these were all the things that I needed to do for last month. I didn't go and tick them off, but a great deal of them got done. Like this guided meditation, going over this passion offer for my app, completing the top 1% course launch. I didn't do that, so that's going to stay. I bought this book that I'm reading on manifesting with feminine energy. There was a Black winemakers event. I didn't go to that, but I can actually just delete that. But there were a lot of like, what do you call it, Black History Month things associated with that, with this month that I had over here, just like social events, some of which I did go to and some of which I didn't. Like the Black Joy Parade, I didn't go to that, but I did go to, there was an art show, a Black art show the night before I went to that instead. And plus, it was raining, y'all, like crazy this morning, so I wasn't going to be out in the rain. Although I did get soaked going to see the Warriors play today because their parking situation is crazy. And they literally have no shelter for people when you pull up to the stadium. And so I got wet anyways, but whatever. All right, Abraham Hicks came in town this month. I did go see them. Delete that off of there. Angela Davis was in town at the museum. I did not see her, but we're going to delete that. There's a Black Food and Wine Festival coming up in June. I'm going to get tickets for that, so that stays. The 2 Black Cooks in the Kitchen, I did not get to go to that because sold out. Delete that. I did do the dinner party, and we're having another one, so that's going to stay on there for this coming month. Like I said, that's happening on the 4th, around the next new moon. Acupuncture, massage, crochet. I've really been into like learning how to crochet, so I did watch those videos. Psycho-Cybernetics, that's my next audiobook I need to read. I did not do that this past month, but I'm going to. This right here was about a different free challenge, and I think, yeah, what it needs to change to is like, it's the 7-day challenge, and I'm going to be moving that from where it's at, which is email right now, to the app. Okay, so that's pretty much that on that for what I wanted to show you all. Those are like the main parts of the Notion template, and it's just a good way to like keep track of everything, like at a very high level, but also the details of how those things are going to come together, and not just, you know, busy work things that, you know, we try to use to call ourselves being productive. It's really based on like, well, what are my main priorities? And of those priorities, what are the strategies that are going to help me to get those priorities addressed? Okay. What are the actual strategies that are going to move the needle forward, you know? And so the daily planner and habit tracker really helped me to stay on top of just like the things that this version of me working at this level need to do from day to day, you know, and help me to like remember just all the little small things, because child, my ADHD brain, sometimes I get really like stuck because I sometimes will feel like, oh, I have, you know, so much to do. But when I come back to this, I can really look at it and see like, okay, well, what are the actual priorities of the things that are here that I need to do? What is the priority for today? And, you know, long term, or over the next 6 weeks or however many more weeks we have until it rolls over, what are the priorities that are still existing now? And so, like I said, some of the things that were priorities for, or strategies related to priorities, have been done. And so I can clear those out, which I will work on doing this week, clear those out and like create either some new strategies, or maybe even further breaking down like what the existing ones are if I haven't started working towards those yet. Okay. So yeah, that's my little 2023 vision not a board. I want to show you one more thing, which is really cool about this that I actually enjoy doing. Like, I enjoy putting this whole thing together, but there's a section down here, and you can, write out like more specifically what are the things that you're going to do each week. But there's a section here called the inspo section. So this was fun to make, kind of like a vision board, but basically I just grabbed some images from like Pinterest that I felt like really embodied what it is that I want to create for this year. So vision board-ish. And monthly reflections. We're at the end of February. So last year I gave myself a 5-heart rating. So I'm a 5-star chick. So you get to rate yourself every month, like how you feel that you did each month. That's cute. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my tool that I use almost every day, if not every single day, because I have the type of memory that like once it goes in here, once it's in Notion, it's in motion. Okay, it's happening. So I don't have to keep checking it every single day. Me just knowing that I put it on here, there's something that helps to click in my brain that like until it's done, I know that it's not done. Like whether I didn't tick it off the list or I didn't tick it off. But it does help me to look at overall, I didn't show y'all this, but there's a section on here where when you tick something off the list, it's in the movement section. Maybe I'll show y'all that next time. But basically it gives you like a percentage for your daily habits. So like, let's say you have 5 habits, right? And each habit you tick off is 20%. So if you only do 4 out of your 5 habits, it calculates, you did 80% of your habits today. I like that. So yeah, this is just something that I put together that really helps me to stay focused on the things that I want to be doing. Somebody mentioned like that they were wanting to read the book, The 12-Week Year. I highly encourage it. I think that might even be on my book list. So I just put, some of the books that I want to read or reread this year are The 5-Second Rule, The 12-Week Year, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. I actually read that already. I've read The 5 Seconds Rule before, but because this is something I share with clients, these are books that I would recommend to them. Just getting started working together. Atomic Habits, that's another really good one. What was the book before that? The Power of Habit, I think it was. So those two together are actually real good if you are someone who has trouble like staying focused and on task and stuff. A Happy Pocket Full of Money, that's a really good book on abundance consciousness, as well as The 4-Hour Work Week. Okay. And those are just some good books in general that you should check out. I think you'll find really helpful. What else is on here? I have a Netflix watch list of just like documentaries primarily for like personal development. So How to Change Your Mind. It's the documentary on plant medicine. Bomb. Okay. Tony Robbins, I'm Not Your Guru. Tony is my guy. I fucks with him. So that's a really good watch on Netflix. Get Smart with Money. I have not watched that yet, but it is on my watch list. Becoming by Michelle Obama. Very, very inspirational. The Goop Lab. This was like unexpected because it's Gwyneth Paltrow, but she has a lot of other experts who get interviewed like through the show, and they have a really good one on Tantra. I watched that episode. There was the guy who does that. It's not an ice bath, but it might as well be, because you like go out to this lake in the winter time and do cold plunges. And he talks all about like the benefits of that for your body. I saw that on Goop Lab. So, she got some people. I'll give her that. She's got some people. I haven't watched all of them. Those are the two that I remember. The documentary In Our Mother's Gardens. Whew, y'all, that was, if you're working on healing mother-daughter relationships and trauma, this is an excellent movie. An excellent movie for that. Like, I hosted a watch party when this movie first came to Netflix. An online watch party. It was really good. Another something that is on my list to watch, I haven't watched yet, is The Minimalists. Less is Now, because I have a goal that I want to be like extraordinarily organized. And I also know that it's something that's within my capability, but I've gotten to the point where I'm like, I'm willing to pay somebody to help me put things in order the way that I like them to be. And to me, that is also embodying like a rich version of myself, where I could do this myself and it's going to take, maybe the weekend, but I've gotten to the point where I'm like, my time is so valuable that if I can pay somebody to help support me in this process, it benefits me and it benefits them. There's reciprocity there, right? And so, saying that to say, like, becoming more minimalistic, just in terms of like what I have and keep in my home, and making sure that everything has a place and a space. And if it doesn't, that means that I probably have some excess, and that means that, I should look at what are some things that I can give away, or get rid of, or scale back on, because if there's not space for it, like, why do you have it, or if there's things in your home that you just don't touch, you don't use anymore, like clothes, for example. Like, I used to really like hoard clothes when I was younger. Like, I had a home, y'all. I had clothes in every single closet, and this was like a 4-bedroom house, and I was the only person that lived in this house, and I had fucking clothes in every closet in the house. I was like, I will never like hoard and hold on to stuff like that again. Like shit that I, just never wore, or maybe wore once, or like just didn't love. And I won't ever let it get to like that point again, on the real. Because what I found is that creates like a stagnation. It feels like an energy, because I'm holding on to things that, somebody else could really probably use, and I just have it because why? I had to really like look at that. And I'm starting to feel that way, like not just with clothes, but with things, like in general. Like if it's not super functional and it's just here, it's not serving a purpose, or it doesn't really have a place or a space, it needs to go. So the minimalists, that's something that I'm, interested in learning more about. But there's a documentary on Netflix, so that's on my list of stuff to watch. Brene Brown, The Call to Courage. I watched that a couple of times. Excellent. If y'all don't know who Brene Brown is, bless your heart. Oh, she's a researcher, and she researches about the effects of shame. She always makes a joke, like she's a shame researcher when she's on the plane and people are like, oh, what do you do? Because they want to strike up conversation. She's like, I'm a shame researcher. And that usually shuts the conversation down, because people don't want to talk about things that are shameful with strangers especially. And so I think this is her second Netflix, The Call to Courage. I do believe she had another one, but it's more of her teaching on like how we manage our relationships with one another, and and she's really known for like her work on vulnerability, like how we show up in a vulnerable way, which hence the title, The Call to Courage, the Kabbalion. Yes, honey, I read the Kabbalion at least twice a year. My copy is literally in my bedroom next to my bed on the nightstand. Heavy rotation. So yeah, The Call to Courage, that's another good documentary though to check out. I think it's really beneficial for like heart work, like heart opening work. Yeah, especially when we're thinking about or talking about like vulnerability. So, and then the last one I have on my list is Mission Joy. If you have any documentary recommendations though, open to those, especially, ones that I find like online. Mission Joy though, this is the conversation between His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Archbishop Desmond Tutu. It just looks like a good time. So that's on my list of things to watch. And this is all from my 2023 Notion vision. But yeah, you guys, maybe next time I'll go over some of the recipes that are on here. Let me know if you have any questions about any of the stuff that I shared. It's getting late, so I'm gonna get ready to go. But yeah, Mission Joy does sound, I know, right? Like check out the trailer for it on Netflix. But yeah, this is just, I go through and I look at my Notion, a few times a week and just tick things off as I go. It helps me to stay really focused on what it is that I need to be doing from day to day, especially as someone, who has a ADHD, a little touch of ADHD at times, and a little anxiousness. Like, this helps me to like get it all out so that I can know what I need to be focused on when I get in those moments of like analysis paralysis. Like, oh, like what's it helps me to look back at the bigger picture. Like, okay, this is actually what we're working towards, and you've already outlined all the steps. You don't have to think too much about it. Like, pick from what's here, what you want to do to keep moving forward. So yeah, that's what I got for y'all this evening. Thank you for tuning in. There weren't a lot of questions, but that's cool. Maybe next time. My next live, I'll probably be getting back on to go over the 5 steps of manifesting. That's a popular topic that I keep reiterating on for y'all because I get asked about it all the time, and the steps are really simple and easy. And so yeah, it's something else that I don't mind talking about. Thank you so much for the hearts too. I appreciate it. So if you have any questions or you need any support on creating your own vision for 2023, let me know. I'm here for you. Check out some of my previous videos and content about manifestation. And yeah, let's do some high level stuff in 2023, y'all. So if there's no questions, I'm gonna bounce now, because another one of the things that I am manifesting, and I have been recoding the identity for myself, is that I am a morning person now. And I'll be telling myself all the time, morning people, they don't stay up until 3 o'clock in the morning. So morning people go to sleep at a decent time so that you could wake up at a decent time. And so because I'm a morning person now and it's very late where I'm at, I'm gonna say good night, y'all. Have a good evening. See y'all on the next video. Bye.